Welcome back everyone, and we are going to continue in this video to explore this relatively new, deadly idea against the Sicilian defense. If you did not see part 1, be sure to check it out. Now this is part 2, continuing with the idea. So after pawn to e4, how many times has your opponent played pawn to c5 and you simply scratch your head and you didn't know what to do because it's a fierce and dynamic opening? But fear not. After knight c3, this is what I'm going to be building my latest upcoming Chessable course on. And today we're going to continue to see what happens if black plays the most popular move, knight to c6. Here I recommend the move bishop to b5. And it's very famous that all black players, and it has been well established, best move is knight to d4, simply attacking the bishop. And we know white has tried knight f3 here, bishop c4, and other moves, but none of them have stood up to the test of time, and black has found well-known ways to equalize. However, I am proposing the fresh idea, pawn to a4, and in the last video we saw that if black takes, white recaptures with a huge development advantage and a good advantage based on the d5 square, the extra development, and he only has one piece to get out, castle, while black is slacking. Now in this video, let's go a bit deeper. So after a4, what if black plays the normal move, pawn to g6? He wants to fianchetto his bishop to g7. Here we play pawn to d3, opening our bishop, and black continues normally with bishop to g7. Here we continue knight to f3, very simple chess. We open our bishop, we develop our knight, and we want a castle. So still, it's ill-advised for black to take. We would simply recapture here, opening the rook on the a file, and then we're ready to castle, bring our rook out, and after a move such as pawn to h3, we have a very pleasant position. We have ideas such as bishop f4, queen d2, then bishop h6 to trade his strong bishop on g7. If black plays pawn to e6 with a very logical way, wanting to get his knight out to e7 and keep his bishops, the eye of the bishop open, we play here pawn to a5, a seemingly strange move. However, after knight to e7, the idea is bishop to f4, and now our bishop wants to come to the d6 square, and black cannot play d6 due to our bishop on b5. And after castles, we simply root this bishop in on d6, and after a6, simply bishop back to c4. And white gets a very pleasant position where black has to go all out to get rid of this bone in the throat, which is d6 bishop. White is standing very well here. So you see, even against the seemingly natural g6 move here, white has some very interesting ideas. Against the move a6 here, I'm going to show you a sample line. White moves back bishop to c4. Black plays e6, very logical move, trying to blunt our bishop. We play pawn to d3. Knight to f6, black wants to play d5. Knight to f3, continuing development. Black strikes pawn to d5. We play bishop to a2. And we have pressure on black center. His knight on d4 is a bit clumsy in the center. Now let's see what black here has several moves. He can take our knight. The best move, in my opinion, is knight back to c6, which is not an easy move to find. Bishop to e7, very logical move, which was seen in a game between Grandmaster Anton Demchenko with the white pieces against a 2200 FIDE rated player. And the game proceeded, e takes d5, e takes, knight takes d4, c takes, knight e2. Now black's pawns are doubled. This pawn on d4 is very weak. And after bishop g4, which was played in the game, white played h3. And in the game, black played bishop h5. If he takes on e2, we simply recapture with the queen. Then we're ready to place our queen to f3, castle, bishop g5, and the pawn on d5 is very weak. Black is struggling. After bishop h5, Grandmaster Demchenko missed the opportunity to play with the idea g4, bishop g6, and f4. This would have helped sew in black's bishop on g6. We want to play f5 to simply trap his bishop. And after the sad move h6, simply we play f5, bishop h7, and this bishop won't be coming out anytime soon. We have ideas such as knight f4, queen could come to f3, we could castle, and white stands very well here. Black's bishop is just a mere spectator, and black has many weaknesses: the d5 pawn, the d4 pawn. This move, pawn to a4, I will not reveal to you everything, but this is the move that I have been working on in secret to publish for my upcoming Chessable course that will be released in the next few months. But I'm giving you here a small preview. This move is it's a move that will get your opponent by surprise. Your opponent likely would have never seen this before. So already, while our preparation will now start here, our opponent will be scratching his head clueless. And as we saw in this episode, it's very easy for black to go wrong here. Now stay tuned, because we saw what happens after knight c6 in part 1 and this continuation of the video. Now, what's going to happen after d6, after e6, after g6, and a6? Well, stay tuned. That is going to be coming very soon. Now, if you like my content, be sure to check out all of my Chessable courses. Subscribe, like the video, and stay tuned for more updates.